Hello, fellow library lover, and welcome to yet another webinar in which we'll discuss a database in detail. Today we'll be discussing Finviz, financial visualizations. This is an investor type related website. And yes, today I'm going off script. I wanted to mix it up a little today. I actually have kind of an interest in financial data and information and research, stuff like that. And I figured I wanted to make it a little different since I've done probably almost a dozen of the online database programs. So if you're interested in reaching out to me, you can send me an email about this and any of the other presentations that I've done. My email address is fdaleref@nassaulibrary.org. And if you need to call me, not that the library is open, but if you did, you could leave a message at 249-9090, extension 203. So my name is Stuart Schaefer, and I'm the head of the reference department at the Farmingdale Public Library. And we're going to continue talking about Finviz, financial visualizations, which is a public website. And you can access it for free by going to Finviz, FINVIZ.com. Up on the screen now, I'm sharing my brief outline that I created. You have my contact information up here, right over here. And well, this is a specialized database for investors, researchers, and news junkies. There is a huge number of charts and graphs. There's a huge amount of data and news and blog links and stuff like that. There is one thing, there is an annoying pop-up that comes up occasionally on the website. It disappears with a paid subscription to Finviz. I'm not advocating it. I'm just telling you that you can actually subscribe for money to the website. So I'm going to share my screen now. We are going to go to over here. There it is. It should be popping up momentarily. And there it is. There's a huge amount of information on this page. As a matter of fact, I might actually do a second part, depending on how long this webinar goes for. So at the top left, you can actually search for a ticker. Let's say I want to put in General Electric. It's taking its own sweet time because, well, why not? I am going to, all right, there you go. So I typed in General and then it populated with GE or Portland General Electric Company. I'm going to click on GE, but first, in a second I will. But first I want to show you that they have a news section. There's a stock screener. You can filter down the stocks that you're interested in. There are heat maps. You can see one on the right side in green on this side. They have groups that you can speak to other investors about, to ask questions, to participate in conversations. You can create your own portfolios and track them in real time. There is a section on insider information, legal insider information. So that is the CEO or the CFO or the CIO buys or sells stocks. You can get to it, find out what actually they're doing. There's a section on futures and Forex, cryptocurrency, and back testing, which is a for-fee based type program. You can learn about the different levels of service you can get if you click on the elite link up here. However, the top three charts, the first one is a one-day chart of the Dow. The second chart is a one-day chart of the NASDAQ, and the third chart is the one-day chart of the S&P 500. You can see advancing declining lines under here. This tells you that about just under 80% of stocks were advancing today over here. There's a new high chart right here. There's a simple moving average chart over here, a 50-day one. And then you also have a 200-day simple moving average chart. Notice if you hover over any of these charts, a little box will appear. In this case, I did the advancing declining chart, and it tells you exactly what I just said, what the little graphs over here indicate. Over here, you have charts about new highs and new lows and why they made a new high. For instance, PTGX, Protagonist Therapeutics, it gained 83.7% today. It was a top gainer. That was the signal over here. And you have probably the top 15 or so over here. Then you have top losers just to the left, right around here. I'll highlight it if I can. I just highlighted it. These are the top losers. And again, there's a signal. In other words, PRA, which is Pro Assurance Corp, it lost 21% today. It was a new low, but if you scroll down, there were some more volatile stocks, downgrades, insider selling. That is theoretically the reason why it made this list. There is also a list of trend line supports, and this is mostly technical analysis over here, why these particular companies made this list. There's a new section on news right around here. I just highlighted it. Looks like it's the first 5 news articles, most recent. I'm doing this at about 9:30 on the 8th of May. And these are the new news articles from 9:24, 9:14, 9:13. And if you notice on the left, it has a little indicator of which news organization it came from. The top one is from CNN. The second one is, I don't know, but the third one is from the New York Times, and the fourth and the fifth. Looks like they have some information about macroeconomic data, including from non-farm payrolls, average hourly earnings. This is all from May 8th, earlier this morning. And then they have some insider trading, legal insider trading down here. I just highlighted it. And you can watch a guided tour down here. If it's your first time, just click on this link at the bottom. I highlighted it. It's actually a very good tutorial. It might take you a couple of times to look at it. Definitely worth looking at. So on the right side, I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to go to a heat map. I'm going to click on this one right here. And basically, this is a heat map of the S&P 500, I believe. And you can see this pop-up just appeared. I'm going to click on the X to get rid of it. Periodically, it will appear. So it looks like this is for today. And if I just hover over the word MSFT, Microsoft, it tells you that it's in the technology industry, it's a part of the software industry, and it's in the infrastructure sector. It was up pretty much 0.59% today. And over here, competitors include Adobe, Oracle, Synopsys, VeriSign, Fortinet, Akamai, and I forget what FFIV is, but those are competitors to Microsoft. And you can see how the particular companies in the same or similar industry, how they performed today. So Adobe was up 0.2%, Oracle was up 1.8%, but VeriSign all the way over here in red, it was down pretty much 0.4%, but Apple was up 2%. And you can see, you can hover over any of these stock tickers, and you can find out a little about Google. The other thing that's interesting is that you can change it to a bubbles option. So you can get the idea that we looked at, there's the pop-up again. It looks like Alphabet Google, it was up 1.15% today, and this is probably a 3-month chart of how it did. It bottomed out in mid to late March, and then it went up. And this chart also shows you, or the graph shows you its market cap of $612 billion. The other things you can do is you can filter it by sector and by market cap. by index, the Dow Jones or the S&P, all sorts of ways to slice and dice this information, by average volume, by either under or over a particular number of shares that it trades, all sorts of ways to slice and dice and for you to look at the information. We're going to go back, and I just want to show you the news option over here. I'm going to go back one more time. And we're back at the home page. Up here, I'm going to click on news, and this is absolutely fascinating. On the left side, you have news articles from well-known news sources like CNN, Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, I believe, is down here. What else? Let's check this one. But I think it's from Market Watch. That's where the W is over here. That's the W over here. We have Market Watch, then CNBC. It's many of the bigger news websites. There's the New York Times over here about the garment workers. But if you click on any of these links, and they're time stamped, if you notice, the most recent one is 9/24. This second one, we're going to click on from, not sure, but it says no V-shaped return from devastating U.S. job loss, Fed policymakers say. This came from Reuters. So you click on the link and it takes you directly to the article, read it, and go on your way. I'm going to close that link. So you can see that there are plenty of articles, starting from about 5 o'clock this morning at the bottom of the page on the left. And you scroll up, you can click on any of the articles that you're interested in. One thing that is interesting is if the screen is too small, just hit Control and your scroll wheel. And if you push it away from you, the scroll wheel, the font will get bigger. So it's easier to read. This is if it's really big. The bigger the text is, the less you get on the page, so the more you'll have to scroll. But if I pull the scroll wheel towards me and I'm hitting my Control button, I can make the font smaller, excuse me, but I get more on the page and I have to scroll less. So on the right side, we have blogs. And the first one is from Want to Be More Like Sweden? What if we already are? This came from a blog from thestreet.com. And this is the article. And I just scroll down a bit and I'm going to get rid of it. The next one is from Zach's CR. No idea what that is. I think it's calculated risk blog. Yeah, it's an interesting site. Sometimes worth getting. CR is calculated risk. DR stands for the Daily Reckoning. Sometimes there's a little too much information out there. You'll see. We have the V over here. This is for VantagePointTrading.com, your Forex futures and stock trading resources since 2007. And I'm just scrolling down. This is Seeking Alpha, the little A, that's the squiggle. There's calculated risk again. I don't know what this is, this little symbol, I forgot. Abnormal returns, forecast free since 2005. So be aware that some of them can be for-pay websites. They'll tell you if that's the case. Just be aware that they might have an agenda. Keep your eyes open, caveat emptor, as you might realize. So I'm going to make my screen a little smaller, and I wanted to show you one of the really awesome features of the site. It's free. It is their stock screener. I spend many hours on this. There's a new note that I have not seen. It says, we've updated industry classification in some of your presets and alerts with sector or industry conditions that could be affected. We're sorry for the inconvenience. That might be because maybe the S&P or another indexer has changed the way they're creating their indices so that it trickles down so that Finviz, financial visualizations at the top left over here, by the way, it would change the way their stock screeners are screening stocks. So you can start small by creating some filters using descriptive filters like a particular index, like the S&P 500. And let's look for companies with a market cap of over, I don't know, large, over 10 billion, 10 to 200 billion. And we want a company whose dividend yield is over 2%. So theoretically, we started with the S&P 500 companies, and using the two other filters, we got it down to 181 companies. But if you notice over here in the center, just to the right of the word descriptive, we have the word fundamental. So we can actually look for some fundamental filters, including the PE ratio as an example. We're going to look for companies whose PE is under 20, probably a lot more than we'd expect right now. That dropped it down to 898 right over here. I highlighted it. And let's look for companies whose return on equity is over 20%. Not that we could trust the numbers, but at this point, because of the coronavirus. But we added two more filters, the PE under 20 and the return on equity of over 20. And the pop-up appeared again. But we got down now from 500 to 38 companies, which is actually a reasonable number of companies with which to look at. So we have the chart in front of us, and you can sort by ticker. And any of these column headings you can sort by. You can sort by company, sector, industry, country, market cap, PE, price change, or volume. Let's sort it by PE ratio, and yes, the pop-up appeared. So now it's from high to low, from 20 to 0. So we filtered it down from a low PE to a high PE. And it looks for Viacom, CBS, and then Synchrony Financial, Lyondell Basel, Discover Financial Services. Those are all the lower PE ratio stocks. It also has the market cap over here and the percent change today, Friday, May 8th, and the volume. There are 38 companies in this list. This is page 1 of 2. There are 20 results per page. Let's go to page 2 using the arrow key over here, or you can actually click on page 2 or 1 if we wanted to go back. So if you wanted to, you could even create a custom set of headings over here. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to click on, custom, and then we're going to go to charts. So you can add a ticker, I believe. I'm going to click on settings. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So if I wanted to show in that chart of those 38 companies, if I wanted to show not just market cap, but I could do the current ratio and return on equity. And as you can see, I'm clicking on it and the chart is starting to get bigger. I can see its 52-week low and its 52-week high. And I could do its the net profit margin. Nice, interesting statistic. Yes, I got another pop-up. I'm going to close it. It's annoying for sure, but the information here is really valuable. So I kind of changed my chart headings here. Again, if you wanted to, you could sort the results in the chart by any of these column headings like current ratio. Always nice to see a current ratio over 2 or 3. In this case, Maxim Integrated Circuits is high, has a 6.0. Garmin has a 3.7. And something that's also interesting is if you hover over any of these tickers on the left, a little box appears. So it gives you a chart for the last 3 months It's the sector and industry and the market cap and how it performed today. Over here, this is the white in box that is I'm sort of moving right now. That's very useful. Finally, and yes, there's a lot of information here. You can get an overview of the company by clicking on under the chart. I'm sorry, over here. This is an overview, and the table headings have changed, but you can get a list of or a chart of valuations over here, including PE ratios, forward PEG ratio, price to sales, price to book price to book, price to cash, price to free cash flow, earnings per share this year and next year, and the last 5 years and the next year, and so on. You can get all sorts of financial data by clicking the financial tab over here. Dividends, return on assets, equity, return on invested capital, current ratio, quick ratio. And you can get ownership information, including insider owners, transactions, how much institutions own, institution transactions, stuff like that. You can get the performance of the companies in the chart for the past week, month, quarter, the last half, the performance of the last year, year to date, analyst recommendations over here. And yes, I am going quick. You can get some technical analysis over here by this tab. Average true range beta simple moving average for 20 days and 50 days and 200 days, 52-week high and low, relative strength index, change from the open and change from the gap. I'm not sure what that is, or if I did, I forgot. You can get charts over here. This is absolutely neat. In one sort of view, you can see all the companies in the chart, in the 38 companies that we filtered down, and you can see how they've performed compared to each other. For instance, let's look for ConocoPhillips in the oil and gas and exploration and production industry. I'm going to click on that, and we get a bigger version of the chart. I'm closing that pop-up over here. Trying to, not working, but okay. But you get all sorts of statistics in this chart over here. I just highlighted it. Did it appear? Yes, it did. So there must be at least 50 or so data points for you to look at over here. Do with it what you will. These are analyst downgrades or upgrades or initiations in this chart right over here. I will highlight it. And it gives you price points that the analysts are expecting. And further down, we have all sorts of news articles. I'm going to highlight them and scroll down. The news articles go back to March 18th. And you can click on any of these articles. I'm scrolling up, and you'll go to that particular, article from that news resource. Some legal insider trading down here. And let's see. That should cover it. Already I'm up to about 25 minutes, I believe, in this chart. I'm sorry, this webinar. Just wanted to show you that in the chart, at the bottom under the graph over here, we have the sector and then the industry and then the country that the company comes from. If you click on the name of the company, ConocoPhillips, it'll take you directly to their website, which is what I just did. Might be interesting. Users might want to check the investor relations website, part of the website of that particular company. All right, finally, one more thing, because I can't resist. I'm looking at this table, and at the right side, you can click on statements. So it looks like you're going to be able to get the financial statements from MarketWatch. You can click on this link for the income statement. This link would be the balance sheet. I'm highlighting it over here. And then just to the right of that, you get the cash flow statement. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It's one of many webinars that I'm going to be doing. This was an out-of-the-box webinar for Finviz, Financial Visualizations. I will be videoing this and posting it to YouTube momentarily. All you need to do is go to youtube.com and do a search for Farmingdale Public Library, and you'll be able to check out this video, among others that I've done over the last couple of weeks. So I hope you enjoy this. Come back next probably Tuesday or Wednesday for another one. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email at fdaleref@nassaulibrary.org. Have a great evening and enjoy. Take care.